We're continuing the issue series, and this is 1 Corinthians chapter 8. And I'm entitling this one, Controlled Freedom. So does that make sense? How can freedom be freedom and yet be controlled? A lot of people do a lot of wrong to others because of their freedom. So our freedom, if it's truly of God, there is a level of self-control, because self-control is a fruit of the Spirit. And if we're not being led by the Spirit, we're not under control. We're out of control. We're ruled by our unruly passions of the flesh. So true freedom is freedom that can be controlled. There are certain freedoms, things that we understand and know that not everyone around us understand and know. And therefore, if we enjoy our freedom and it causes damage to someone else, then we have now harmed that person. And that is not of God. Let's look at 1 Corinthians 8 as an example of this. So Paul here is addressing idols and addressing food offered to idols. And especially those who think they know so much and they're so holy because they do not eat food that is offered to idols. Now, in the last couple of days, while here in Israel, I've been eating food. I've been eating food made by Palestinians. Maybe this food has been offered to idols. Maybe not. What Paul is saying, though, is if we truly understand that there is only one God, He is the only true God, idols mean nothing because there's no other gods. So whatever somebody offers to a so-called God, the God isn't real, so therefore it really doesn't have any effect. So we don't have to be so concerned about what we eat, who made it, how did they prepare it, all that. Just eat and enjoy if your conscience is okay with that. But Paul also begins to address those who are fellow believers who might not understand that. They might not truly get it yet, this level of freedom. And they believe hardcore that if you eat food that has been offered to idols, it is sin. And then them seeing you do that causes them to stumble. Therefore, Paul says, you are just as guilty. We are guilty if we cause our brothers to stumble in our own freedom. So it says to be cautious, be careful. You know, some believers believe it's okay to drink alcohol. But if drinking alcohol causes another believer who struggles with alcohol to stumble, then our drinking of our alcohol, our freedom in it, has now made us guilty of the sin of others. So above all, we should think about others more than ourselves. That, of course, reflects God, His nature. Whenever our nature doesn't reflect God's nature, it is wrong. We can get all an attitude about how dare they do this, how dare they do that. But if our attitude isn't Christ-like, then we're wrong. Bottom line. And so we can enjoy our freedom, but we got to be considerate of other believers. Because not every believer is where we're at. We're all in a work in progress. It takes time. Whom the Son sets free is free indeed. Freedom comes from knowing the truth. But truth, we have a lifetime of renewing our mind in the Word of God. And people have different beliefs for different reasons. Sometimes people come from certain things. They come out of it. So they want to have nothing to do with that, and they think anything connected to it is sin. While others, it isn't that big of a deal, and it doesn't cause them to sin. So what I'm saying is, in our freedoms, we must be considerate of other people. We never want to make another person stumble. Our job is to help those around us grow in the relationship with God, not fall away in the relationship with God because of what we do. So I hope this message has encouraged you. God bless you. Until next time. Bye-bye.